Greetings metalheads and welcome to No Nonsense Metal Reviews. I'm George and today I have another instalment of Heavy Relics for you, in which I'll be showing you through a few of my latest vinyl finds. But actually, these are not my finds personally. These are actually recent birthday present gifts from my very generous parents and a father that knows exactly what I want musically. So I'll take you through these very unique pieces and really quite interesting finds actually. This particular article, this LP, lovely piece here, Cloak and Dagger. This is from NWOBHM, kind of underground legends really. Witchfynde, this is 1983. This is the third album of a trilogy, you could say, of albums from Witchfynde in the early 80s that really were pivotal, underground, very different, very unique sounding NWOBHM albums, very influential for the whole scene, and certainly the repercussions of their material has had a lasting effect on the scene, certainly the classic heavy metal scene. One of those bands where, although there were so many new wave of British heavy metal bands, NWOBHM bands, that were just coming out, seemed to be coming out of the woodwork, they were one of those bands that had something different enough about them to actually stand out. Certainly with the first two albums, I'm talking Stage Fright and Give 'Em Hell, they had a very much progressive kind of classic rock, heavy rock rooting to them. There was a bit of a different sound to it. Whereas this album, Cloak and Dagger, 2 years after its predecessor, certainly does sound a lot more heavy metal. This is a NWOBHM album. And actually, that absolutely killer, amazing artwork aside, this is a very, very heavy album. I was quite surprised revisiting it because I have it on CD as part of a little box set. In fact, I'll just reach for it while I'm here. This little piece here, it's a great album. I've listened to it, certainly, but I've forgotten how good it is, actually. As a NWOBHM album, this is very much in the Judas Priest vein. This is an album that I feel is going for the NWOBHM heavier edge rather than just trying to be a slightly different or progressive band. This is the sound of a band that wants to stand out. Although, along the way, they have managed to sound like Judas Priest, like King Diamond, certainly vocally and musically, some of his early solo material at times. It's a really good album, though. I will say, some of those tracks there, take you through a few. Certainly, Devil's Playground really reminds me of King Diamond. And I think it might just be the vocals, but there's a real hint of the King's work there. It's a good track, certainly is a good track. It's a very traditional heavy metal track. Crystal Gazing and I'd Rather Go Wild are very much classic Priest heavy metal tracks. Good tracks, absolutely no doubt about it. But they are traditional heavy metal tracks. Very good stuff though, I will say. Musicianship is very tight. Vocally, it's pretty good delivery there. We've got Somewhere to Hide is a bit of a slower track, but it's a good number again. The title track, Cloak and Dagger, is a bloody good heavy metal track. A bit of a stormer. On side 2, we had Cry Wolf. Good song, definitely a good song. Other standout moments on the second side there, you've got Rock and Roll, which is very much a traditional rock and roller track. It's a heavy number in a sense, but it wouldn't go amiss on a Quo album, a Status Quo album. It's got that traditional classic rock kind of vibe to it, but in a heavy delivery. Stay Away is a good track, and also Living for Memories is a good number as well. We've got some good heavy metal tracks there. But, as I say, this is heavier than their first two albums, most definitely. But this is, in a sense, an embodiment of NWOBHM by this point in 1983, where you'd already had the likes of Maiden, of Saxon, of Judas Priest, of the change in sound and style of Black Sabbath and AC/DC. We'd had the Tygers of Tang and Diamond Head. We'd had so much going on, so many more bands, countless bands, the Handsome Beasts, whoever you want to throw all these names in there. What do you do with the new wave of British heavy metal in 1983? You kind of accept your place, and you try and go a little bit different, but you don't want to go too obscure that actually you're not really standing for the very thing that you were a part of in the first place. But this album is probably my favourite Witchfynde album. I will say this is the heaviest of the three, the classic three albums. It's also probably the most well written and cohesive album of those classic era albums. This is a release on Back on Black Records. It's a very nice piece. It's a lovely piece, and actually this particular version is great because it is a gatefold with a nice biographical piece there in the inside. It's really nice. Obviously, the vinyl is in immaculate condition because this was brand new. This was cellophane sealed. And you've got the lovely centerpiece there, the sticker on the inside. It's great. It's a really lovely piece, and I'm really pleased to have this. It's a great album. It's absolutely lovely. It's a heavyweight disc, actually. It's a heavyweight vinyl copy. The whole package is very lovely. This reissue is a first-rate reissue. So, Witchfynde, Cloak and Dagger, quick summary. This is a bloody good NWOBHM album. Very strong. 1983, so it's on the tail end of that particular movement. Certainly in its heyday. Tracks to listen out for or to check out if you're not familiar with Witchfynde. I would say The Devil's Playground, Crystal Gazing, I'd Rather Go Wild, Living for Memories as well. Some really good tracks there. Some really heavy moments. Some good traditional metal tracks. Good band as well. They could have gone on to be so much more, but like a lot of those bands, like Diamond Head, or like Tygers of Tang, Girl School, there's just some classic moments, and then it all fell away with either too much time between albums, too many label-related problems, too much transitional difficulty. There's just so many things that can go wrong, and unfortunately for Witchfynde, it did go wrong. They just didn't stick around long enough. But you know what? Cloak and Dagger is a bloody good album. The other particular birthday present that I got here, which I'm absolutely chuffed to bits with because I'm a massive Tygers of Tang fan, is a collection of 7-inch singles here, and you have some really brilliant pieces here. These are real sort of fan pieces. The first one, I'll take you through chronologically. We've got Tygers of Tang with 3-track 7-inch single here. It's a little bit weathered, it's a little bit sort of frayed around the top there, but it's actually in really good condition. The single itself is in really good condition. But we've got some classic tracks from circa the classic Wildcats' first debut album. We've got Rock and Roll Man, a rock and rollin' heavy metal track, All Right on the Night, and we've got Wildcats. We've got 3 very good songs there. Brilliant delivery. They sound great. It's Tygers. But by the time we get to Hellbound from the second album Spellbound, this is on a whole new level. This I absolutely love. This cover is so good. You've got that phantom on the side profile there. Looks dangerous, and this is a freaking heavy track. And if you notice, we've also got the Audition Tapes 7-inch single inclusion there. So we've got Hellbound and Don't Give a Damn, which is another fantastic track from that era, from that album. And we've got the Audition Tapes, Don't Take Nothing and Bad Times. I believe that I've heard Don't Take Nothing because it is on the compilation, which is another one of those great clamshell box sets down here somewhere, which is a compilation of or box set of the first few years. The first album, Wildcats, through Spellbound, Crazy Nights, The Cage, and loads of extras. So I'm pretty sure that the B-side on one of them, bonus track, is Don't Give a Damn. Correct. That is on there somewhere, on Spellbound, I believe. But you've got this lovely piece, and the cover's great, the tracks are great. I mean, Hellbound is without a doubt my favourite Tygers of Tang song. It is freaking heavy. The riffs on that, man, they are electric. And just the whole thing is great. I'm yet to listen to the Audition Tapes, but I'm pretty sure, as I say, I know that track, Don't Take Nothing, and that's a heavy piece. Sticking with that Spellbound era, the story so far, another great track, a lovely, lovely condition piece here. That 7-inch, we've got a 3-track here with a B-side, obviously A-side is the story so far, B-side of Silver and Gold and All or Nothing. Great tracks from a fantastic album. Spellbound is one of those classic NWOBHM albums that just doesn't get enough love. That is one of the best NWOBHM albums, without a doubt. It's certainly within my top 5. And this is a lovely little piece to have. A nice little accompaniment to that fantastic album. We've also got Susie Smiled as well. Another good track, a solid track from Spellbound, but not one of my favourites, no. But it's a lovely piece to have. B-side of Tush, ZZ Top classic. You know, soon as you hear, even though it's a cover version, soon as you hear those opening riffs, that song, you know there's only one band that it could be. No, it's not Motorhead's No Class. It's gonna have to be ZZ Top. And it sounds freaking great. However, you had lots of great material there, but we're going on to Tygers of Tang. We're going on to the Cage era. This is Rendezvous. Now, Rendezvous and the Cage just completely lost on me. They tried to go totally into the Def Leppard vein there. Do you know what? It just doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me. It didn't work for a lot of people, but it worked for a hell of a lot more. And actually, I don't know. It's just, to me, it's just a little bit too soft, a little bit too weak. You got B-side of Life of Crime there. It's not a bad track at all. This is a really nice condition piece to have. That MCA sleeve there. You know, it's not a terrible song. It's not. But it's produced by Peter Collins. You have Chris Sangarides is out by that point. And the whole thing has just changed. There's a different beast entirely. A different monster. And you know what? This isn't the era of Tygers that I particularly enjoy. Same with, although slightly better, Love Potion number 9, which is actually a cover track. But I did already have a 7-inch version, but this one is heavily damaged on the inside there. This is lovely, mint condition piece here. Really nice piece to have. You know, I'm really pleased to just have all of these because, you know, let's face it, these are classic Heavy Relics. But Love Potion, good track, but just the cage again. It's just a little bit lost on me. It just doesn't quite do it. I think that they accomplished so much. They sounded so good with those first 3 albums, and then you've got Cage, and it sounds like they're trying to be Def Leppard. They're trying to do what Whitesnake are doing, Def Leppard doing. They're trying to do what you know, all those big American stadium rock bands are doing, but it just doesn't quite work, in my opinion. However, these are still really lovely Heavy Relics to have, and I am very pleased with this little collection. What do you guys think about this classic album? Witchfynde, Cloak and Dagger, a lovely piece to have. I'm very pleased with that. And also the mighty Tygers of Tang with all these great tracks, classic tracks, however divisive they may be. What do you think? I'm really interested to hear. Thank you very much for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe as always, and do check back soon for more reviews, more words of all things heavy. Now you take care, my friends. Stay heavy.